Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back, y'all, to Amberland. It's gonna be a doozy. And by that, I mean we're gonna breeze it in, okay? Breezing it in. So, though, before I do get into it, I just want to talk about I want to give a special shout out to my brother in law, Linwood Hawkins, as well as my sister too, because you married her and you made the right choice. Welcome to the family. Still going 30 years strong. Man, I've known him since they've been knowing each other since she was in college. So, okay, I'm putting their age on blast. Not the point though. Grateful to have him. Very, very grateful that you've been a part of the family for so long. And also grateful because you used your talents to give me a really, really dope logo. I have a new Girls Night Out logo. Girls Night Out be coming soon. Just relax. And by that I mean let me relax, because try not to get too nervous. I mean, I'm not nervous. It's just I'm a little anxious because it's been over a year since I have performed in general, but putting together a show in a pandemic and just gonna figure out the moves to make for it. Of course, I will keep you all posted on that. But like I said, thank you to my brother-in-law Linwood Hawkins, because he did a really dope job on the logos, and I'm very, very pleased. So thank you much. And yeah, shout out to my sister. Like I said, love y'all. Also, I have a show coming up this weekend. It is going to be on Saturday. It's going to be at Pond City Market. It's outside, and it's at 9:30. And yeah, that's pretty much all I know about right now. I will give you more details later. And by that, I mean I will give you more details when I do the show afterwards, because there's not much else I'm not going to put out another episode before then. So, yeah, this is all you get. So, if you don't see me, I guess I'll give you more details on Girls Night Out coming back. But yeah, this show is going to be a one and done. I'm going to do it at, like I said, at Pond City Market. I'll give you more info, of course, towards the end of the show, so I won't be sounding like I'm just constantly self-promoting. Just kidding. That's what we do. We create and then we promote. So, also want to give a shout out to Top Coat Nails and Ansley Mall. It is across the street from Ansley Mall, and it's in another strip mall. It's right where the Rusons is. And it's actually down around the corner from Smith's Soul Bar, which I've done the 1 a.m. show there. So, hey, speaking of the 1 a.m. show, keep your eyes and ears peeled. Eyes and eels. Oh my gosh. I'm not even drunk. I'm just drinking that water. So, oh yes. Shout out to Kill and Be Cool Jam Sessions. I did that last week. It was last Thursday. I did a couple of freestyles. Pretty ridiculous, but we have fun. As long as I can get people to laugh, because I freestyled like Andy Milonakis during the webcam years before he got the MTV show. Eek. So yeah, but I enjoy that, so shout out to them. And yeah, let's get into these topics. So Derek Chauvin, the trial, I'm not gonna talk much about it because fuck that shit. But man, the theme of the title of the episode is mum's the word a little bit. Cause there's a lot of people snitching, man. There's a lot of course there's more to that, but the first one, which is a good kind of snitching, was the police chief of the Minneapolis Police Department, and the lieutenant. The police chief was black, and then the lieutenant white. So that's the first time that's ever happened. Well, at least for the police chief, that's like the highest ranking officer, and they're testifying against another officer. That is, yeah, I don't even know why this is on trial. We already saw what happened, but they gaslighting the fuck out of us as always. So Like, why does Chauvin deserve a day in court when they don't even do that to two black men who went to jail for a nickel bag? Fuck out of here. So, fuck Chauvin. Moving on. Shout out to those cops, though, the police, the high ranking ones, because they never do that shit. So, that's dope that they're doing it. And versus, apparently, well, I saw some of the screenshots. Ronald Osley, apparently he aged well. Good for you, bro. Silver looks good on you. I didn't see the verses. We tried to, but my there was this couple who was over, and yeah, they had like a little tiff, and it ended with her leaving diplomatically. She's like, I'm gonna leave. And I was like, dang. So we ended up not watching the verses, and I didn't care. I was watching basketball, but I was kind of intrigued to see it. But I don't really care about those really anymore. I mean, the Redman and Method Man on 420 possibly, but I'd just be like, oh, okay. I mean, there's always YouTube the next go, after the fact. But yeah, we didn't find. We couldn't. Well, you had to download the Triller app, and the app that it wasn't connecting to the right TV, so it was just an awkward time. So I hear Versus was great though for the peoples, old and young. So shout out to them. They still doing it. DMX. I am really. He's currently fighting for his life right now. As I'm saying this now, he still is on life support, and I've just read how doctors plan to do brain function tests. So I guess they're testing to see if his brain can still function. It sounds just as it sounds. But yeah, today is the day, which is Wednesday, where a lot will be determined on his future. He was rushed to the hospital this past Friday, and he was rushed to the hospital, Westchester County, and it was a heart attack, and then he ended up getting on life support. So since then, a lot of his fans have been going to visuals, and they've been, pulling for your ex. I'm a big DMX fan. I loved him in Belly. I love Flesh of My Flesh, Blood of My Blood. I love It's Dark and Hell is Hot. Even love X, the one with Who We Be. And what y'all want from him? I think what y'all really want is on X. I think it's on that. But I really prayed that he pulls through. He apparently he said it himself. It was on a podcast where he said that he tried weed for the first time and it was laced with crack when he was 14, and it was his so-called mentor, and ever since then he's been fighting addiction. 14. When you're introduced to something as addictive as crack at 14 and your brain is still functioning, it's hard to not be addicted to anything else. I mean, it's hard to just fight that. Crack is incredibly addictive. And I can't even imagine. Imagine a 14-year-old smoking weed for the first time. They're going to get hooked on that, and it might be addictive. They might develop an addictive personality too, because their brain's not developed. They don't know the difference of certain things yet. So when you're 14 and he came from, he had to grow up on his own. I mean, his mom, his mom's taking him to some facility for young boys. Like, you like it here? And he goes, yeah, it's not bad. She goes, great, this is where you're gonna be living. He was raised by the streets, man. And then on top of that, then his so-called mentor at 14 gave him a lace crack blunt. What the fuck is that about? You shouldn't even do that to an adult. So why a 14-year-old? So since then, he gave us a lot of gems, but he's been battling his pain for years, for decades, and Earl Simmons pulled through, bro. Pulling for you, man. Really, really pulling for you. Do want to say fuck the New York Post. I just don't fuck with that. I don't fuck with that publication whatsoever. But this is what they decided to report about yesterday. DMX and the houses he's lost during his rap career. Do we really need to know that? He's clearly dealing with something. And then they're interviewing Demi Lovato. She's counting her blessings because she said what he's dealing with mirrors what she dealt with. Which, that's great. I'm so glad she's pulled through because that's a great thing to say. But it's not her fault. She's answering questions. I just hate how sensational the media is and how they glorify in our pain. Like, even as a sports reporter with their whole, oh, he's a bust. Oh, his injury. He could have been something. Like, it's so glorious for these middle-aged white people who don't have even an iota of a percentage of a salary close to who they talking shit about. So these New York Post niggas, like, yeah, he at least he was still able to afford them. Y'all were never close. Fuck y'all. And look like Tiger Woods, next up, Tiger Woods, another victim to, we did black community clown the shit out of him for that Oprah interview with the whole Cobbler Nation, but that was 97, and he was so young. Like, I don't know. I wonder if he feels that way now, but it doesn't even matter. But what is not cool is how the media just gloated in the fact that he struggled with so much during his downtime, with the whole wife situation, her bashing the car, the window in. That was pretty, whatever. But, and then the whole transgressions and all that, like, yeah, I mean, when you paint someone as a golden boy, it's hard for him. I mean, stop putting people on a pedestal. That's basically it. And Tiger Woods, I mean, he's a man. He's a human being, and yeah, what he did with how he transcended the game of golf to total. I mean, he did it. He did that shit, and let him have that shit. But also, he went through some shit. I mean, that video of him when he's on those drugs, we didn't have to see that. And so now, when at first they didn't report, the police said that they were going to keep it to themselves for privacy reason. But now they're saying that it was excessive speeding, which is what caused the wreck. So his SUV was traveling from 84 to 87 miles on a downhill stretch. And the speed limit was 45 miles per hour. And he reportedly was going 73 miles per hour when he hit a tree. That seems like some facts they already had. So, I don't know. But I don't really care. I'm not going to sit here and speculate. There was no traffic citations, and the authorities said there's no evidence of impairment, so they didn't dispatch a warrant. So, we'll never know. That's our answer right there, and let's stick to it. Because, I mean, I'm just glad it's good that he's alive. It's good that he's recovering, but we don't really need to dig into what that man going through, man. It's just terrible. Like, when I saw that, it was, a relief that he didn't have a life-threatening injury. They didn't even say career ending. They said life-threatening. So I feel like the priorities of it just seems like the priorities of things to deal with had to be a little bit shifted. So dealing with these haters, he just happy to be alive and walking. So, and we just gonna stick to that. So the MLB, I didn't even know they were coming to Atlanta for the All-Star game, but they are not. So they are not coming here. That makes sense because the people who were at SunTrust Park probably definitely had a hand. Probably voted for Kemp, who put out that voter suppression bill. That's what it is. I'm gonna just call it that. But yeah, the whole voting law, all the things that they're limiting. Well, apparently they were they're like, hey, why don't you go ahead and pull out? Because the White House pretty much urged the commissioner of the MLB to be like, look, this bill that's happening in Georgia, we can't let them niggas get away with it. We got to keep hitting them where it hurts. So, nah, not going to be no MLB All-Star game. I am very, very happy about that because MLB fans coming here, nope, totally different ball game. A whole lot of khaki cargo shorts with fucking New Balances and white socks. White ankle socks at that. We're goody. But I am going to shift gears. So before I end on, before I go into the timeout, I just want to talk about this article briefly. I'm not going to say the byline. I'm not going to give too much detail. Just it's something y'all could look it up for yourselves. This is really for it's shop talk between us comics, wink. So if you listening, what up? But yeah, there's this article that was recently published that from the same publication I used to be an intern with, and I'll just call it Adhesive. So it's apparently ruffling some feathers because the person who wrote this was pretty blunt. There were some low blows, I would say, but overall the point was valid. The points were made, and some of them were valid. Bottom line is, comics don't need to burn themselves out, and a lot of them didn't even know how to turn it off during a pandemic. And it was kind of like a scolding, like, y'all need to take better care of yourselves, and especially during a pandemic, because don't spread things. Like, and then there was just some low blows, though, like, the whole idea of hustle culture and how it's kind of diminishing the creative spark. And like to a point where people are more concerned about how many times you go up as opposed to how many quality shows that you're on. And it's like a lot of the times, the people that were still doing comedy in the pandemic last year, it's like, why even do that? Some of the earnings you cannot even make enough to pay. No, it's like some of the earnings you make enough to pay Hulu subscription with the commercial. It's like, oh, come on, you can, but I'm not saying the person is wrong that was more of like, come on, that was an example of a punch down. Like, points can be made, you can make your point without really punching down. But overall, I mean, the point is valid. The points are valid. It's just, I feel like the points can be made valid without pointing fingers at who's what. So, I mean, I understand because I don't go out to shows like that. Like, I mean, by that, I mean, I don't just go out to hang out and talk shop and riff all the time. I'm pushing 40, nigga. Like, I can't just be hanging out with these coked out kiddos. But at the same time, I understand, because why not? I mean, if that's especially something that you're striving to be better at and do professionally, I don't see a problem with that. But yes, it is saturated with a lot of people, the open micers pretty much. It's saturated with a lot of people who don't want to necessarily grow with their craft or even have a craft. Not so why even hone something you don't really are not really crafting at. But so I understand that, not wanting the saturation of those type of personalities. But at the end of the day, fuck it, you don't have to go out. You can take your own advice too, cause that was something that I was like, nah, fuck this. Like, I'm not. That's why I started my own show. It's like, there's no way I'm going to do all these shows, especially a lot of unpaid shows, and I feel like there's nothing coming out of it other than quantity. Because it's this whole concept, if you're not going up 10 times a week, you ain't shit. And it's crazy. There's people who will do like 4 shows a night and they just be like, yeah, fucking crushed it. And it's like, but did you though? So I totally understand both sides. But at the end of the day, it's like points can be made without the little So, but it's all good. Whatever. Everybody do y'all. You feel me? So, but I'm going to see y'all soon, okay? But also, don't be busting my balls because this time I ain't seen y'all because it was a whole pandemic. Because every time I'll do a show and I go out and I hang for a bit, they're like, oh man, I seen you. I was like, it's been literally a month or so. Like, relax, it's fine. But anyways, we're gonna go to a time out. I'm just gonna start doing that. Like, I'm gonna just turn around after each segment and just be like, we're back. So, I want to talk about Paul Pierce getting fired on his day off. That's some literal Friday hilarious shit. The niggas from California too, Los Angeles at that. And I fucks with Paul Pierce, man. He's literally my all-time favorite college basketball player. I watched him when I was 11. Like, I was in 6th grade. That was when I was into college basketball. And I was like, well, who this nigga? He balling hard with the Kansas Jayhawks, man. Like, just doing the damn thing. He, Jock Vaughn, Rafe LaFrance, Scott Pollard. They were fucking beasts. So, yeah. The 95, 96, and 90... Yeah, 95, 96, 96, 97, 97, 98. So, I think, he was there for 3 years. Ever since he was a freshman, I was a big fan. And then he went to the Celtics, and I was like, dope. And I'll never forget when, like, right before the 2000 NBA season. Yeah, he, like, it was literally a whole last month before the NBA season started. And he gets stabbed 8 times. He said 3 times in the stomach, 5 times in the back. And then he got a bottle crashed over his head. So he had pretty much stabbed 9 times because the bottle counts as 9. So, and I remember being like, damn, I was like 15 years old. That was the peak of that was like the height of my NBA fandom. I was like, damn, man. And I remember, I was like, yo, is he playing this season? And they were like, yeah. I was like, wait, is he playing? Wait, he's not missing any. He's not missing practice. He's not missing any. Like, he's not gonna miss any games. And then you watch it, and then the season's over with. 2000, 2001. That was a good ass year too. That's 20 years ago, man. That was the Iverson MVP year, man. The Tyronn Lue. 2000, the Jailblazers, quote unquote. That's when they lost in the West Coast Finals. It was like they were up 3-1, and then they were like the original Atlanta Falcons. Nope, Atlanta Braves. See, they're all kind of the same. I said the Hawks, Falcons, then, but yeah, they were the original 2020 Braves. But that's not the point. Point is, Paul Pierce handled that season with ease. 82 games, but it was just, come to find out, of course, he was paranoid for 2 years, carried a gun on him for 2 years, and he had a lot of depression from it. All that makes sense. So, and yeah, like I remember that's when I became even a big fan. Then, of course, that's how he got the name The Truth. Because, 82 games, it's like playing 82 games healthy is a big deal. And I remember, Steven Jackson saying that on All Smoke when he was talking about it. But 82 games after getting stabbed a month later? Like, what? What are we talking about? Like, a month later after getting stabbed, rather? Like, 8 times? In the vitals, like, it's not like he got hit 3 times in the stomach, 5 times in the back. Like, he was bloody mess. And 82 games a month later. Didn't even... Like, a whole last season he played. So, I fucked with him heavy. But this past weekend, I blame it on the homies, because I didn't even know about it till people were. I don't know. I saw some story, and then I saw some tweet. I don't even know how I saw a tweet, because I'm not even on that shit. So I guess maybe someone screenshotted it on a story. I don't even know. But it was like, yo, Paul Pierce going crazy, yo. And I'm like, what? It's like, yo. And it's like all these players. It's like, yo, what's going on? So Paul Pierce had an Instagram Live, just a video of him with, some strippers, some Freddie Gibbs shit, pretty much. Like, literally Freddie Gibbs shit. Like, strippers in the background. One's giving a massage. Him smoking a blunt. Like, he was smoking a blunt. Bruh. Of course he got fired. They fired him instantly. But, yeah, he tweeted the next night at like 10:45. He said, good morning. And then someone was like, where's your wife, bro? And Paul Pierce out here, he like on Instagram Live, he's like, hey, Monica, come over here, girl, come make you some money. Like, why you putting somebody? That shit was crazy. It was funny. And then his Instagram, he's like, hey, man. Oh, well, like, he wasn't even phased, but I saw a headline that said that he's down $100,000 in a job. So if they were just paying him $100,000, he's used to millions, and he's getting paid $100,000 to appear on. Like, he also had his role diminished, like, in the past few years on ESPN. So some shit probably happened where he didn't even give a fuck, because he did not care. He was just like deuces, and he wanted to do it in a way where he just. I mean, Paul Pierce is Paul Pierce. He literally pretended he was so hurt that he got a wheelchair to the locker room. Years later, he just revealed it like a year or so ago that he just had to take a big old shit. And so he got, Paul Pierce. Stay being you, the truth. All right, so now on to the next segment, the brick. I can't roll my eyes fast enough. Fucking Michael Rat Purport. Why is this guy still doing things? Long story short, I had like the whole exchange, but y'all just look that up yourselves. KD really just KD went in on him during the DM session, because Michael Rappaport said, hey man, your interview with Charles Barkley, you should have been this way. Just another white man telling a black man what he should do and how he should be grateful for being rich. Just another white man being a hater because he ain't making the same amount of money and he ain't got the same amount of skill. And have anybody seen Michael Rappaport on a goddamn basketball court? That nigga ain't got no skills. He ain't no baller. Fuck that nigga. And Zebrahead's a terrible movie, just like the rest of your movies. So, fuck Michael Rappaport. Kevin Durant got fined 50,000 G's because of this. He's sharing screenshots from something that happened how long ago. And then he's like, I feel bad about it now. And people calling me a rat, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, you are a rat. We didn't have to know anything about this. This was literally a nobody Michael Rappaport situation. Like, we didn't ask for any of this. We know KD be on some bullshit. I mean, the burner account situation is hilarious. He be in his feels. He be talking shit. So the fuck what? Like, he ain't hurt nobody. Did he hurt you? When he was like, he said your wife called you. He said, I'm surprised your wife can even be around you, man. I'd be disgusted. Like, Kevin Durant went in on him, and it was funny as fuck. And he got mad about it, and now he's, like, sharing with the world, and now he's talking about how he feel bad. Fuck you, bro. You gonna always brag. You out of here. And then we're gonna go to the Swish, because I ain't gonna talk about this pasty-ass motherfucker anymore. So, not pasty are these two black women that I'm giving the Swish. Literally the Swish, because these women are some hoopers, former hoopers, and now they're coaching hoopers. So, Adia Barnes, I remember her from Arizona. She used to play with Arizona, and now she coaches Arizona. And then Dawn Staley of South Carolina, they both went to the Final Four. Adia Barnes especially, swish, because she went to the finals. lost by 1 point to Stanford, but Tara Vanderveer she's up there. I mean, Gino Auriemma, Pat Summitt, may she rest in peace. They're all powerhouses. I mean, and then old girl from Kim from, I forgot her last name, my bad girl, but old woman from Ogre from Baylor. She a baller too. She kills it. But yeah, those women were the first black women to I guess, well, I don't, not the first black woman to go to the Final Four. First time there was two black women as coaches to the Final Four, because Carolyn Peck, her 1998 run with the Purdue Boilermakers, that's still the shit. Shout out to Caroline Peck, for real. She, with her country ass, man, she's with the ESPN. I'll never forget when she got interviewed, and it was just like, whoa, okay, I think she's from Johnson City or something. She's from East Tennessee or something. But anyway, it's good to see some. It's good to see some women balling, man, and getting. And I'm what I'm seeing lately. Because I'm starting with lead pass hair flip, you get to see a lot of the commercials for it, and it's a lot of airplay with these it's a lot of WNBA sponsorship. Like, they're getting a lot of commercials now, so these endorsements, man, it's dope. Like Sue Bird, she was recently in it was one of, I think, Carmex, and Stephen Curry was in it too. And it's a good commercial. Look it up. Because the guy's like, yeah, I just sold a car to a 4-time champion. And then Stephen Curry goes, 3-time. And he goes, oh, no, I was talking about Sue Bird. I just sold a car to her. She's go, what up? And he goes, okay, I'm working on it. How cute was that? But yeah, shout out to the WNBA players getting their coins, and and coaches like Adia Barnes and Don Staley helping produce some WNBA caliber talent. So hell yeah, fucks with that. And now the highlight reel. So I watched Godzilla vs. Kong, and I wish I had eaten the shrimp. Oh, dang, I forgot. Anyway, that's not the point. So, wish I had done some shrooms for that, because I didn't need to, though. We were still pretty damn stoned. And so we all became Beavis and Butthead and just started watching. It's like, oh, this is a comedy? Oh, they didn't mean for it to be? But I'm laughing very heartily. This movie was ass. It was funny, though, with the commentary. Just why it's like the scene with Godzilla beams down King Kong's lair, and it's like, hey, little bitch, I ain't done with you, little nigga. And Kong's like, all right, motherfucker, you big mother. It was just really funny. But the movie was not good. But it was still fun to watch. I needed to watch something like that, because I'm always watching things that make me think. So it was good for anyone who don't have high expectations. I mean, it's just that's the first time I've seen Godzilla or King Kong, really. So saw it together. It's like, oh, let's watch this. But it's I'm just glad it's not over 2 hours. So, but I mean, there was times where I was with someone who always wanted to watch Transformers in theaters, and I would be like, this is not what I want to do. But at least this time I was in the comfort of my own home. But yeah, that movie was not good. Do something else with your time, y'all. I mean, maybe watch this, but maybe not. Hysterical. Oh yeah, we're in the overtime now. Yeah, I breezed through this shit. I'm looking at the time. It's like, oh shit, 34 minutes. Ooh wee. Ooh, watch me sparkle. But yeah, so I watched the documentary Hysterical. I watched like 3/4 of it. I still need to finish it. But I watched Hysterical, which is a documentary on, it's from FX. It's on Hulu now. And it's a documentary about female comedians. And the women that they highlighted it was a very interesting selection with like Rachel Feinstein, Judy Gold, Margaret Cho. Mm, I'm trying to think. Oh, Eliza Schlesinger. Very, very interesting. They chose her, considering how she was said some really disparaging uh comments about female comedians about a couple of years ago. But hey, people change. Nikki Glazer, and then two black female comics, Sherry Shepard and Marina Franklin. Both I love. Both are really funny, but very interesting choices. It was definitely no. I mean, they chose like the generation of now. You know, they it was the women of this era and a little bit of a past era talking about the women that helped pave the way, you know, like the Moms Mabley, the Phyllis Diller, the Whoopi Goldbergs, the Wanda Sykes. But I felt like there was some lacking in representation as far as I mean, Margaret Cho. I mean, they chose the safe bets, you know, like with Margaret Cho, as opposed to, uh, like Naparna, who voices BoJack Horseman's sister on BoJack Horseman. Like, she's Indian. She's really, really funny. I mean, Ali Wong, of course. Well, there could have been a Latina comedian too. And probably more, you know, more like it's not, I mean, I get it though, like with documentaries it's like harder to like always represent everything, but it was just a little, everything just felt safe about that documentary. Like they chose the people that they felt like guys would want to hear from. Because like with Sherry Shepard and Marina Franklin, I thought those were two interesting choices, because like as opposed to like a Miss Pat who is coming out with her own show on Netflix, or like even like in the same realm as like a Leslie Jones or Monique, you know, like they, I mean, it could have been a budget thing, but it's just, even with Carmen Esposito, you know, like Ray, but like it was just, there was some lacking in voices that I really wanted to hear from, as opposed to these cookie cutter voices. I mean, Eliza Schlesinger, she got kind of tense when they said, "How do you feel about when they say women aren't funny?" And she goes, "I thought weren't gonna talk about this question," because she got kind of triggered because of the shit that she said like a few years ago. She's like, "I don't know. I see why people say that women aren't funny, because they talk about certain things and I talk about the war." It's like, cool. So, and I just never found her funny anyway, but I do fuck with Nikki Glazer, so it was really cool to hear from her. Like, even my homegirl, my favorite, Natasha Leggero, I felt like she would have been so perfect for that documentary, but they didn't have her. So it's like, again, it was like a cookie cutter choice, you know. Like Sherry Shepard, I mean, she's a great comedian. I didn't even know she was stand up, because I've known her more for acting than anything. And then of course when she was on The View, you know, so but they had, it was like they chose really, really safe black comedians. And I'm not saying they're safe in that, you know, oh, they're not really black. Definitely don't mean that. I never do mean it in that sense, but I'm talking about in the way that it's just enough for their palate. It's like, and they're both two black women who talked about how they were made fun. Like, yeah, they dealt with racism, but it's because they were the only black kid in their white neighborhoods type shit, you know. So there's so it was like none of them, like no white or black, you know. I mean, all races. None of the comedians had any type of like around the way type feel, you know. Like some women grow up like really, really like in really tough situations, and a lot of these, yeah, they were tough. That they overcame some things, yeah. And I'm not saying, oh, I want people who struggled, but I really couldn't relate to what any of them said, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, I understood what Sherry Shepard and Marina Franklin, especially Marina Franklin, like, I understand where they're coming from as far as being made fun of, like, our black peers because they think that we're not black enough type shit, you know, with the whole, oh, you talk white and all that. And, you know, yeah, that's, of course, dealing with some racism as well. But yeah, just yeah, a lot of the female comics that were there, I was like, oh, at least this is cool, but these were this. But this is not my documentary. You know, I would have chose someone else, but it just seemed very pussy hat feminist. You know what I'm saying? Like very everyday feminism 101 article type shit. So, I mean, that's cool, but I mean, I don't know if I'm going to finish it, but I do recommend it because it's because at the end of the day, there's always, you know, because I don't think it's a bad documentary. I just feel like there's some lacking, but overall, I do respect the documentary and I appreciate it because they still talk about. I mean, it still feels good to see this and hear what it's like to be hear what for professional women comics say what they, you know, it's good to have that same parallel. I do relate to the universal, like I relate universally at what it's like to be a female comic, you know, when they talked about dealing with the sexism and the scary shit and all that. I definitely related to that segment. And I related to just what it's like and how powerful it feels being a woman who can make a room laugh. That shit feels fucking great. And I mean, I'm blessed because I never in my life have been told that I'm not funny. So, I mean, it's just been, that's why I guess, you know, once I got really good at comedy, it's like, oh yeah, I guess people were right the whole time. This is something that I really could have been doing most of my life. Like, I mean, ever since I was a kid, I've been told I should do stand up comedy. And I just didn't believe it. I didn't have the life experiences yet. And now that so when I started comedy 8 years ago, I was like, oh, now I have the life experiences. But that I will say, like, it was hysterical. It felt good to relate to that. It's like, yes, I am a female comic. I am a professional stand-up comic. I know what it's like to deal with a room, and I know what it's like to feel good when you make a whole room feel good, and when you walk up that stage and they don't talk to you. No, Mitch Hedberg, that joke. I was sitting at the bar and nobody was talking to me because they had just seen my show. Funniest shit to me, because it'd be like people be laughing they ass off like, ah, and then you washing your hands next to them in the bathroom and act like they don't see you. It's amazing. I love it. So, oh my god, it's so good to see you. Fake ass motherfucker. All right, so, oh yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm done. I'm done, baby. I'm done, dilly done. Once again, that's a really great way to end on this because it leads back into my self-promotion. So, all that to say, stand-up comedy's rad. Come check me out and see how much I love it. Come Saturday. Wink. For real. Pond City Market, 9:30. And then follow me on AMBWOW, A-B-M. Nope. A-M-B wow. AMBWOW. Like ShamWow, but Amb. And then, of course, Amberland podcast. Of course, you can follow me on my podcast there. But as far as all my stand-up comedy news, go to my main page at AMBWOW. And you can also go to amberisweird.com. I'm going to put all my events on my calendar. Keep your ears and your eyes on the prize and them peeled on the prize. Yeah, what am I saying? So, y'all been cool. I'm going to go enjoy my food I'm about to throw down on. So, I'll holler at y'all next time. Peace.